25 shocking details about Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen became a sensation among the anime fandom. Fans follow it religiously, and new seasons attract more and more viewers who are enthralled by the world of Jujutsu sorcerers, the life of Yuji Itadori, and the ever so complex plot. So it's only natural one might miss some keen details. But don't worry, in this video we're here to tell you the 25 shocking details that you might have missed in Jujutsu Kaisen. The first one is about Gojo being a big fan of Digimon. Yes, this applies both to the fan favorite character and to the actors. He references it infrequently during the manga, and was apparently obsessed with the series in his high school days. What's even more interesting is that both the original Japanese and the English dub voice actors for Gojo have acted in Digimon as well. Then, Megumi's relationship with his Shikagamis. Though it may seem like a small detail, it carries really important implications. As it turns out, Megumi experiences serious depression upon the death of his Shikagamis, taking it more seriously than he would the death of a person. This is very important because in his capacity as a Jujutsu sorcerer, Megumi has seen quite a lot of human death. Number 3 is about Yuji Itadori's mother. It's clear by now that Kaori Itadori was possessed by the demon Kinjaku when giving birth to Yuji. This points to the very disturbing fact that Yuji is the descendant of perhaps the most evil sorcerer in known history. How does this cope with the fact that this individual holds the vessel for the demon overlord Sukuna? We don't know yet. In number 4, we have the prequel series. The concept of JJK initially started as a short story focusing on the life of Yuta Okutsu, who's struggling with the cursed spirit of a girl he once knew. It is due to the popularity of the short story that Gege decided to make a whole show behind it. In the manga, Yuta's story has become more and more prominent. But what is behind Toge's language? To avoid having anyone caught up or hurt from his cursed speech, Toga communicates through rice ball toppings rather than actual words. Though much of his speech is nonsense, words like fish flakes, negation, salmon, affirmation, and kelp, greeting, are quite useful for his communication skills. Now there is Shoko Ieri's qualifications. Shoko's reverse curse technique makes her an invaluable ally in the JJK universe. However, her actual medical qualifications are quite murky to say the least. She cheated throughout her medical exams, and her doctor degree is actually not legitimate at all. But why does Nanami use glasses? There's a lot of mystery behind Nanami's character. He was originally written as a villain by Gege before being turned into one of the most principal characters in the show. He relies a lot on his glasses, which aren't just for aesthetics. They actually help him see cursed spirits more clearly while avoiding eye contact with them. And what's the significance of twins? Twins are a very important part of Jujutsu Kaisen's expansive lore. As shown after Mai's death, her twin sister Maki's power exploded exponentially. Turns out, when twins are born, their powers are divided between them. After the death of a twin, their power is transferred wholly to the living twin, allowing the latter to literally carry the legacy and soul of the departed. Number 9 is Gojo's Sweet Tooth. Even though Gojo is often compared to Naruto's Kakashi, the two characters have one very significant contrast: their attitude toward desserts. Gojo initially used sweets to replenish his energies, but eventually and gradually became addicted to them. His sweet tooth is a running gag in the show, and is the reason why sweets figure so deeply in his story arcs. In number 10, we have Toji's cursed childhood. This tragic character traces back his prominent facial scar to his traumatic childhood. As the descendant of a family of great sorcerers, but having no cursed energy of his own, Toji couldn't see cursed spirits. To fix this, and to train him in the arts of Jujutsu sorcery, his family used to throw him in a room full of spirits which he couldn't see, in the hopes that this would help in his training. What it did do instead was permanently damage him. Yes, Choso is actually Yuji's brother. Throughout the series, Choso has been manically calling Yuji his brother. Though we initially thought this a comical gag, there is actual truth behind Choso's claims. Both are direct descendants of Kinjaku. The demon lord is Choso's dad, and he inhabited the body of Kaori, Yuji's mom, before giving birth to Yuji. Quite an unusual biological connection. But this is JJK we're talking about after all. Now you might have missed it, but Yuki can turn herself into a black hole. Yuki Tsukumo is one of the major characters of the franchise before she meets her untimely death against the demon Kinjaku. Yuki has the ability to turn herself into a literal black hole by adding an unlimited amount of mass on her body. However, this ability has massive ramifications on her body and leads to her death as well. Number 13 is about Gojo and his birth that brought a new era in sorcery. The famous Gojo Satoru's birth itself caused a new era in sorcery and created the timeline in which the JJK franchise starts. The infant was so incredibly powerful at his birth that the powerful sorcerers of the time went into hiding in fear of him, leading to a weakening of curses. Little could they have imagined that the boy's power would just increase with time. Now Kinjaku possesses Suguru GTO. It seems obvious for everyone, but the primary antagonist of the series, Kinjaku, currently possesses Suguru GTO, the best friend of Gojo Satoru. After his apparent death at the hands of Gojo following their falling out, Kinjaku's mind possessed Suguru and revived him. This is the explanation for him confronting a shocked Gojo who believed his friend was long dead. Then Yuta was in Africa training with Miguel. Throughout the first 2 seasons, fans have been wondering where Yuta, the original protagonist of the JJK franchise, has been residing and when he'll show up. It turns out that the answer is quite simple. The boy was out having the time of his life in Africa training with Miguel, an enemy turned ally of the Jujutsu sorcerers. But who killed the higher-ups? The murder of the higher-ups of the Jujutsu sorcerers is one of the biggest mysteries of the entire show, since their dead bodies were shown without any actual context. However, in the manga, there is a panel of Yuta and Inumaki walking out of the scene of the murder. This lends heavy credence to the theory that they are responsible for the deaths, even though it remains to be seen what their motivation was. Number 17, Hakari is based off of Tyler from Fight Club. There are many pop culture references in JJK. One of the biggest and most obvious ones is that Hakari, a student of Jujutsu High, is based on Tyler Durden from Fight Club. He has the same attire, the same type of fighting ring, and an almost identical personality as well. Did you know that Choso vs. Yuji is based on a fight from Raid 2? Another major pop culture reference is that the heated battle between Choso and Yuji is inspired by the kitchen fight in Raid 2. This is yet another example of Gege incorporating different types of media into his franchise. What exactly is Yuta's domain expansion? There's a lot of mystery behind Yuta, one of the strongest sorcerers of the series, and a potentially major character. We do know that he has an exceptionally strong domain expansion, but it remains to be seen what that is. However, fans need to keep their eyes open for any future reveals about his character. Will Gojo be resurrected? Following the off-screen death of Gojo at the hands of Sukuna, many fans speculate that he might be resurrected. While this can be chalked off as wishful thinking, what cannot be denied is that there is a lot of Buddhist symbolism present in Gojo's death. For example, the panel showing his dead body has 7 lotus flowers, a symbol of rebirth. Number 21 is Sukuna's fingers. What we know is that the demon overlord Sukuna has 20 fingers, the last of which is missing. Gojo knew where the finger was, but due to his seeming death, the characters have little idea where it could be. Some speculate that the finger is with Nobara, another character whose ambiguous death has left fans with many questions. What about Megumi's potential? According to Gege, by the end of the series, either one of the main characters will survive or 3. These include Yuji, Megumi, Gojo, and Nobara. Since Gojo and Nobara have already seemingly been killed off, the only viable path left for Gege to fulfill his own prophecy is the death of Megumi, whose body has currently been taken over by Sukuna. If this happens, Yuji will be the only one surviving in the main cast. What did Gojo say to Geto? When Gojo defeats and kills Geto, he whispers something in his ears. It hasn't been revealed what he says, but it's quite possible that the opening song of the anime provides a major hint. There is a quote, "We will meet again," in the song, and since it feels out of place in the song, it might be related to what Gojo told Geto. Number 24 is Rika Orimoto's sinister past. Even though Rika gives many reasons for fans to think her as creepy, especially her cursed spirit form, there's something even darker lurking in her closet. It turns out that her caretaker grandmother sees her as being responsible for her parents' death. This is entirely plausible considering the mysterious circumstances behind her parents' death. What if Itadori ate a death painting? The official JJK fanbook provides a clear answer to this long sought after question. If he ate it instead of Sukuna, Itadori would be able to override the consciousness of the cursed womb, and be able to use its cursed energy. However, if he's merged with Sukuna, the death painting will have no effect and disappear. If you want to see other cool videos about Jujutsu Kaisen, you can check on this one right here by clicking on it. Go ahead, click it!